must be the greatest. I told the world, I thought the God ever gave. The best ever.
Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host neighborhood hero Ryan Rios and Bad Chaz, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 42. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bad Chaz, let them know what we have on tap for them, man.
Oh, man, we're going to talk about fight week, and that's going to go over some of the fights that are going to be taking place this Friday and Saturday, so you guys are going to stay tuned for that.
Right. We got fights on Friday and Saturday. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, what else do we have on tap for them, man?
Yeah, some current events, man. We'll let the audience know what's going on in boxing. Man.
Right. There's some juicy stuff going on.
Yep.
But before that, guys, we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Let me introduce him. Working out of the Zoom corner, hailing from San Diego, California. Ladies and gentlemen, Cutman, Devera.
What's up, Jay?
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Jay? Thank you so much for making the time to be with us on the DL Boxing Podcast. How you doing this evening, brother?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, likewise, man. So you're from Southern California, Jay. Can you tell us what the boxing scene is like right now at the moment, brothers? What can you share with us about the boxing scene out in Southern California?
The boxing scene, as far as the amateurs,
Sure.
there's definitely a lot more amateur fights this year compared to last year. But as far as pros, I mean, there's been a couple boxing shows that Marv Nation has promoted in conjunction with the House of Boxing, so that's kind of cool. But every now and then we'll have like pro shows.
Yeah, right on, Jay. Well, you are a Cutman, Jay. Us boxing fans, we want to know. Share with us your journey, man, on how you became a Cutman.
So 2018, I had neck surgery. I think I was telling you, Chaz, about it briefly. So 2018, I had neck surgery. I couldn't really do much. So I was sitting down, watching TV, all kind of shows, keeping up with boxing and stuff, right? So for whatever reason, this particular fight, I can't remember which one it was. I looked at the corner and I paused and I was like, yo. And I watched more like in between rounds and I was like, I want to do that, So I'm a nurse down here in San Diego. So it kind of clicked for me. I was like, yo, they're kind of like a nurse in between rounds. So from that point on, it's crazy because my son was enrolled. We enrolled our son into a boxing gym. The boxing coach is Coach Seal. So I was like, hey, Coach Seal, man, I want to work the corner. What can I do? So crazy thing was that I think that weekend or a couple weeks out, he was like, hey, come to me. And I was like, huh? He was like, yeah, come with me over to Palm Springs. So he took me to a pro bout. I think it was World Fighting Championships. Yeah, and that was an experience, man. I kind of was just nervous. I was like, yo, what do I get? Looking online and stuff like that. And that was my introduction to being a Cutman.
Wow, that's unbelievable. It's interesting how everybody has their own unique road, to eventually becoming, the trade, right? Man, that's great, Jay. I'm gonna pass it over to Bad Chaz for some questions.
Hey, Jay, man, thanks again for coming on the show, man. We appreciate and respect you for making time to come on, man. So
thank you, bro.
I'm gonna start off with just some simple questions. The first time me and you met, that was over in San Diego at the House of Boxing, at the Cutman seminar that was put on by Juan and that boxing gym. My question to you was, being a Cutman, and kind of going back, you've been involved, for a minute now, but what was it that you took from that Cutman course, that maybe you didn't know before?
Stuff through the commission. Different rapping techniques.
Okay.
Rapping is always involved, like evolving for me, I'll stick to one method and then check out other hand wrappers and be like, oh, okay. Or I'll practice on my wife and son and, practice that way. But what I took from the seminar was different wrapping techniques, stuff from the commission and just meeting all you guys, man.
Yeah. I think the last time we talked, because I'll reach out to you once in a while, like if I have a question or something, I need to, reach out to somebody that has a little more knowledge and experience. You're kind of my guy. You mentioned something about you like to use the gauze was the foreign one. What's the I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Empire.
You still using the Empire gauze?
Yeah. I like that gauze, man, because it not only it doesn't really stretch much going horizontally, but vertically it does. Okay. It you can maneuver it and cover areas that's hard to get to than other gauze. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And then you still using the Stitch Premium and what was the other one you like to use?
As far as tape?
Yeah.
War. And also, I also like to use Trainer's Room. They're based out in Vegas.
Is that something new that you started using?
I started using that, I think several years ago, just for practice. But I brought it out to boxing and MMA events just to see, how it works and how it feels on boxers and MMA guys. And it works out for me too, man. I'm able to maneuver it around the hand pretty well. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, hey, I looked at your Instagram right there, and I've seen some of the venues that you've got to work at, man, and they're pretty spectacular. And so I'm just wondering, what would be Jay's, dream venue to work? What's in the back of your mind? Like one day, man, I'd love to work right here. Where would that be, Jay?
The ultimate goal, man, is to eventually get to Vegas and Madison Square and in Texas and in Atlantic City. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. And the ultimate goal, man, is to be like Basil and Stitch to Top Rank or Mike Rodriguez to PBC Showtime. You know what I mean? That would be the ultimate goal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to get there, bro. I've seen all the work you've been putting in, man, and you seem very passionate about it. So I think that, just stay consistent, and I think that day will come, man.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. One of these days, I know I will, man. It may be 5, 10, 15 years, but one day it'll happen, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jay, I'm going to turn it over to Neighborhood Hero now.
Hey, what's up, Jay? Thanks for coming on, man. Your goals, man, just inspiring, man. I like hearing that, dude. And hopefully one day, we can go to a big venue and, interview some fighters. And, not only, the big venues, but I also know you're big in the amateur scene, man. Is there any fighters you would like to shed some light on that you developed a close relationship with?
Gosh, I haven't really built a close relationship with a particular fighter, but I've wrapped so many like amateur fighters and so many amateur MMA fighters and pro boxers. So it's like every fighter that I'm with, I try to, keep it cool and just build that rapport. So when I do see him later down the line, it's like, hey, I remember you, and, chop it up and, hopefully get to work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, man. And also, too, becoming, a Cutman, dude, is pretty demanding, even being a nurse. How do you regroup from all that, man? What are some hobbies you have outside the ring and outside your profession to, kind of regroup from all of it?
Well, as you can see, I have a lot of music equipment in the background. So I like I'll play music. I'll make beats, and I'm kind of rusty on the scratching because I used to DJ back in the day.
Nice, bro.
I used to do like battle DJing back in the day. So I'll scratch a little bit here and there. So, and also hang with my family, go eat. And my son's pretty active in baseball, so that kind of like relieves the stress and stuff like that.
That's dope, Jay. That's dope.
Yeah, awesome, man. And I could relate to that, Jay. I myself also dabble in music. There's nothing like making music and just getting rid of all that stress through music, man. Absolutely. Hey, brother, I'm gonna throw you some fun questions, brother. What is Jay's favorite boxing movie?
Favorite boxing movie, man? It has to be Rocky.
Hey, there's 6, 7, 8 of them. Which one?
So, yeah.
I think Rocky 4, man, with Drago.
Dude, that's mine too. I think that's a unanimous decision, right? Yeah. The way that movie was put together, like it seemed like every scene was like a music video, right? Like a montage. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, the soundtrack was nice on Rocky 4.
100%. I agree, brother. Hey, man, when we go out, to Southern or Northern California to visit gyms, Jay, we make it a point to visit some sushi spots. What's Jay's favorite sushi spot in San Diego, brother?
Favorite sushi spot? Oh my gosh, there's so many. I think the sushi spot would be RB Sushi, but it's been a while since I've been there. Yeah, it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's lethal right there.
That's lethal, right? I don't think we've ever gone to a sushi buffet. At least I haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah. We don't have those around here. No. They charge you by the roll, huh?
Yeah, and the thing is, man, if you don't finish the sushi, they'll charge you.
There you go.
They'll charge you more, man.
Yeah. Right on, Jay. This is more. What do you plan to say in the near future, like a year from now? Where do you want to be at?
So I kind of planned it out, man. So I started in 2018, and Lisa, my wife, helped me out. Actually, let me go back. So started 2018. Coach CEO brought me through the door. So from that point, I kind of got stuck. Like I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know how to network. So the funny thing at WFC in Palm Springs, our opponent, there was a tall guy in the corner. I didn't know who he was. Tall dude, tall Cutman. So at the end of the fight, the guy comes up to us, passes us by in the locker room. He said, "Hey man, good fight. Nice tape." And I was like, "Nice tape?" It was war tape. So I kept that in mind, drove home. I think maybe the next day I was trying to search for tape, war tape, and it led me to Instagram, and then I saw Mike Rodriguez's picture, and I said, "Yo, that's Mike Rodriguez who said, 'Hey, nice tape.'" And I was like, "Oh man." So I reached out to him. I didn't think he was going to get back to me. I just asked him questions. "Hey, as a Cutman, what do you recommend? What kind of tools to use and stuff like that, And he took a shot, and he took me under his wing for two fights out in LA, which was big, because I'm like a little kid. I'm like a dude, nobody, right? And here I am reaching out to this guy, and he gives me a chance. So I'm gonna shout out Coach CEO Mike Rodriguez for that shot. And also my wife. So after working with Mike Rodriguez, after him showing me things, I got stuck again. I was like, man, where do I go from here? Because I couldn't really rely on Mike. I mean, he got PBC, he got all kind of fighters everywhere around the world, right? So my wife goes, why don't I just reach out to like USA Boxing and stuff like that? And sure enough, we were able to go out to Vegas for even amateur fights, not even pros, just like for free. We would take a family trip. We went to a couple title boxing amateur matches and stuff. And then I got stuck again, and then COVID hit, and that was it. But last summer is when it picked up again with the amateurs, which I was mentioning earlier. I had a plan, and I was like, last year, you know what? I'm just going to go to all the amateur shows I can, whether if it's in Diego, LA, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna show up. I don't care about money. I just want to work on my raps, network, build that rapport. And last year was, excuse me, last year, after looking back, I'm like looking at my IG reels and I'm like, yo, that was a lot of work I put. That was a ton of work. And another thing I want to mention is, so last year after doing that, I get this message, and it was Cutman Al Gomez, huge Cutman. And I kind of bugged out. I froze, right? Because he goes, I looked at the message. He says, Jay, call me when you get a chance. And I froze. I was like, and so I said, hey, babe, Al Gomez just messaged me. She's like, who's that? I was like, yo, that's Big Dog right there. I was like, what do I do? Lisa was like, call him. And so we laughed. So I called him. He said, hey, Jay, man, I've been watching you. You've been grinding. You remind, you totally like grind how I was grinding back in the day. I want to take you to Top Rank. When Top Rank was here last year over at the sports arena, I froze even more. I blacked out, not literally, but I was like mind blown. Like, yo, this dude, Big Dog, is going to take a chance, give me that shot. He sees something that I'm doing right, to Top Rank. Never been to a Top Rank show to work a corner. And that was another monumental point, like in my career. Worked the corner with Al Gomez, Bashir Abdullah, for Austin Brooks. That was just nuts, man. It was so surreal, man. I was just like kid in the candy store, just like looking at the lights, everything, just like, I also got to meet Mike Basil, Stitch over at the weigh-in. So that even was just like, whoa, this can't be real. You know what I mean? But to go back to your question, my goal, I think, next year is to continue to do a lot more. I like to do both, man. Amateur MMAs. If I can get to pro MMAs and get some work there, but next year would be amateur MMA fights, just to continue to work on my craft, learn from my mistakes, get more pro boxing bouts, and then think of another game plan. But the plan for this year was it's pretty much playing out, where I'm doing a lot of amateur MMA shows and pro boxing, which is a blessing, man.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful, Jay. That's awesome, man. Something I was actually curious, Jay, when we have sanctioned bouts, do fighters have to have a Cutman, or is there one that does the whole show, or how does that work, man? Like, can you shed some light on that?
So in the state of California, a fighter needs two people in their corner, a chief second, which is usually the coach, and the Cutman. Sometimes boxers don't want the Cutman. They feel that they don't want the Cutman until they get cut. and then they're like, oh, where's, so yeah, a chief second and another second.
Wow. Yeah, man. And another thing I'm curious, guys, and I'm glad we have Cutman Jay here. Man, when I was watching boxing as a kid, Jay, I was watching Mike Tyson against Buster Douglas. And Mike's eye was swelling up, right? And I remember as a kid, finally, they were using like a balloon. I think it was an inflated glove or something as an end swell, right? And since then, I've been kind of infatuated with end swells, man. Can you tell the world, what is an end swell, and how do you use them, or is there a technique to using the end swell to, for the fighters, where the swelling doesn't, get out of hand?
So there are different shapes of end swells. They got end swells that are curved like this.
Right.
They got flat ones, and they got end swells curved like that. But essentially, you want to put pressure on it for as long as you can. There are some Cutmen that'll kind of move the end swell to kind of move the blood. But a lot of times, and it's a good technique, right? You'll see that lump move. but then underneath the skin, you'll have blood vessels just break and it'll get worse eventually. But you just want to put that pressure on it for as long as you can while you use your other hand to do other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Jay. Well, any last words for the fans watching, Jay? Let them know what's going on, brother.
I just want to give a big shout to my wife and my family because they've been very supportive, man. There are like weekends where I'm like, hey babe, I got this show in LA or somewhere down in Diego. And they're very supportive, loving, and understand. And so I have to give a big shout out to my wife Lisa and my kids Marley and Zoe, for sure.
Fantastic, Jay. Well, thank you so much, man, for being with us on the DL Boxing Podcast. It was our honor, man. We can tell you are a very gracious person, very, shows gratitude for all the opportunities that come your way. And we greatly appreciate people like you, Jay.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, for real.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
man.
Jay.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Absolutely. With that said, have a nice evening. Take
All right,
care.
see you guys.
All right, man. See you.
All right, guys. Well, it's fight week. All right, guys. Let's preview the fights that are coming up this weekend, starting on Friday, September 15th. From DAZN out of Mexico, we have the young Federico Pacheco Jr., who is Diego Pacheco's younger brother. He is a heavyweight. He will take on Carlos Cardenas. Bad Chaz, what's interesting about this bout, it's a 6-rounder. Both fighters, according to BoxRec, are 4-0 with 3 knockouts. We don't get this type of fight where, early in their career where you have 2 undefeated fighters going at each other, which makes this exciting, man. Hopefully BoxRec is correct, but what do you think, man?
Oh, like you said, you don't get it very often. So it kind of, our anticipation is like, man, we got this heavyweight prospect that's coming in here, and he's going up against somebody that, is going to give him, the opposition to where it kind of creates a 50-50 fight.
Right.
But I mean, we've seen Federico Pacheco in the past, you know what I mean? And he's always rising above, you know what I mean? He has the right stable around him. He has the right team. He has the right coach, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of expecting him to kind of go in there and kind of take control of that fight. I think he's going to be a little more disciplined and just have a little bit more of a game plan. And then, I think it would be nice to kind of see Pacheco, down the road to kind of come up with maybe more rounds, like maybe a 10-round fight, man, and just kind of see him progress that way.
Develop and stuff. Yeah. It's going to be exciting to see him. He's going to be on DAZN, exposure. So don't miss Federico Pacheco Jr. versus Carlos Cardenas. All right, guys. Also, Friday, September 15th, we have the top-ranked card out of Corpus Christi, Texas. We have Puerto Rican sensation, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, Xander Zayas, 16-0, 10 knockouts. He will take on Roberto Valenzuela Jr. in a 10-rounder. Valenzuela is 21-4, 20 knockouts. So Xander's got to be careful. It seems that's a high KO percentage from Valenzuela, so we'll see if he tests Xander's chin. What do you expect to see out of Xander this fight, man?
You know what? I love the kid, man, dude. He's just one of those guys that's just going to keep on rising in my book. But you're right, dude. He has 20 KOs, so he's a big puncher. And, Xander's got to just keep his distance with that jab, dude. You know what I mean? And then just go down to the body, dude. Mm-hmm. I think eventually, he will just outwork the guy, dude. And I think it's going to be a short night, honestly, dude. I think it'll be a short night. I don't see it going past like 6 or 7 rounds, but Xander Zayas is special, dude. He has that will to win, and I don't see anybody beating him for a while, dude.
Yeah, well said, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. Do not miss Xander Zayas versus Roberto Valenzuela Jr. All right, guys. Also on that card, we have El General Emiliano Vargas, 6-0, 5 knockouts. He will take on Alejandro Guardado, who is 5-0. Talk about another fight with featuring undefeated fighters. Bad Chaz. Emiliano seems to have all the skills in the world. He comes from a high pedigree of boxing. We actually looking forward to seeing him fight another fellow undefeated fighter, man.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I love watching Emiliano. I think that, he's one of those prospects that's starting out early where he has the experience from his stable, from generations back, to where, he's kind of adopting this style to where he can make adjustments in the ring throughout the fight, you know what I mean, to complement that fight in his favor. So I'm just expecting him to, kind of go in there and make kind of more of a dominating performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, Emiliano has just been impressing us fight per fight, man. He just looks like he's getting better. Like Bad Chat says, finding the keys to victory while on the fly. Making the adjustments, which is a great trait of a young fighter. What do you think, man?
Well said, man. And anytime this kid fights, dude, it's like a main event for me,
right?
Because like you said, he adapts, dude, and he's patient. And a lot of times, dude, his fights are only 4-6 rounds, but he's super patient, man, and poised, and he finds that opening and he attacks, dude, and he's just always been spectacular, dude. It doesn't even matter if he knocks the guy out. He's just in there, dude, going to the body, upstairs, just doing everything right, and I can't wait to see this one, man.
Yeah, well said, man. So do not miss El General Emiliano Vargas versus Alejandro Guardado. All right, guys, let's turn our attention to the main event, which features Luis Alberto Lopez, El Venado. He is 28-2 with 16 knockouts. He is the IBF featherweight champion. He will take on Joet Gonzalez, top contender. He is 26-3 with 15 knockouts. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, this has a shootout written all over it, right? What do you think, man?
I'm big on both fighters, dude. I've met Joet, dude. Class act, dude. His brother's cool. His dad's cool. His whole family, man. His sister's cool. Everybody's just, just cool. A boxing family, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But man, Venado, dude, just on another level. I think it's gonna be a firefight. Definitely, the fans are gonna get their money's worth, dude. And the fans are winning on this fight. But I see Venado, just being too much, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. Venado coming off his big TKO 5 win over Michael Conlon, Bad Chaz. Joet Gonzalez, though, we can't count him out.
No, you can't.
No, although his 3 losses are against top-notch fighters such as Shakur Stevenson, Emmanuel Navarrete, and even Isaac Dogbe, man. Yeah. So he just hasn't been able to get over the hump. This is his chance, man.
He deserves it too.
He deserves it. Yeah. How do you see this fight?
Like you said, Joet, you know what I mean? He's faced some of the top tiered fighters, you know what I mean? That are coming up. So I think that, he definitely is going to present, a threat if he's not responsible in the ring to El Venado. But, you've seen how early Venado was able to get out.
He's been on a tear lately,
by that 5th round. Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of plays out. I think it's a great matchup, and it definitely has me anticipating watching this fight.
Yeah,
you know what? You brought up a good point, because I think if anything, dude, Joet might have fought the better competition, dude, and he might have learned and adapt to what he needs to work on.
Exactly.
So you're right, dude. I didn't think about that, and yeah, man. Shoot, now I kind of give him a chance, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of right now. I think we're kind of blinded because of the terror streak that El Venado has been on. Handing such fighters as Gabriel Flores his first loss, going over to overseas and beating some UK fighters. And then, like I said, last win against Conlon. So he's been looking very impressive. Yes. But you're right, man. Joet Gonzalez with that experience, he could pose a nice threat, and we might have a nice firefight in our hands.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. So do not miss El Venado Lopez versus Joet Gonzalez. All right, guys, let's turn our attention to the main event on Saturday, September 16th. We have the return of William Zepeda. He will take on Mercito Gesta in a 12-rounder. Zepeda guy, undefeated, 28-0 with 24 knockouts. Mercito Gesta, 34-3-3 with 17 KOs. What can I say, man? William Zepeda, he's just a machine in the ring. Like we said, he's hold that record of throwing over 1,500 punches, in the fight. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, I know you're big on Zepeda, man. Tell us all about him.
He just doesn't stop, man. From the time the bell rings to the time it stops, dude, he doesn't stop. You know what I mean? So he's just going to fight fire with fire, dude. He's just going to go all out, and you're just going to either have to knock him out or outpunch him to win, because he's just super special, dude. Just has a motor on him, dude. And man, this is going to be a tough test for Mercito Gesta, man. Yeah,
Mercito Gesta is up against it, Bad Chaz. Ironically, both are coming off victories over Jojo Diaz. And so actually Mercito Gesta's last fight was a victory over Jojo Diaz that gave him the shot against Zepeda. What do you expect do you see Zepeda, just kind of outclassing Gesta?
Oh, you know what? Zepeda, he's just a high volume puncher. You know what I mean? He's going to start early and he's going to finish, with high volume punches, just the way he started. Yeah. So I think with, Gesta, he needs to come in there and he needs to start soon. You know what I mean? Don't give up any rounds. He needs to match him with punches. You know what I mean? Don't just sit there and take him like a punching bag. So, I mean, if that means move out of the way, take him back to the center of the ring and start letting off your own combos, you know what I mean? Because make an impression on those judges, you know what I mean? And try to go to the body of Zepeda. But, I mean, it's not going to be an easy task. We've seen what Zepeda can do, and he's just a workhorse. So, they both got their work cut out for them, but I might give the edge to Zepeda at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, do not miss William Zepeda versus Mercito Gesta. All right, guys, it's time to talk about the current events in boxing. Well, guys, I know in our last episode, we were excited to tell you guys that Shakur Stevenson actually had an opponent in Frank Martin, which is a great fight, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Days after we dropped that episode, we get word that Frank Martin either pulled out or, decided not to go through with the fight. Some of those details, we're not sure of, but you were telling us it was maybe a little bit of a money issue. Neighbor Hero, tell us a little bit what you heard about that.
You know what? Yeah, that's what I was hearing, that it just didn't make sense to, Martin to take that fight. You know what I mean? Because it's a high risk fight. You know what I mean? And not to make very much money off that, it's just kind of doesn't make much sense, if it's all in favor for Shakur. And plus, you go to the judges, you go to Top Rank, it's one-sided, and it's still early in Frank Martin's career to take that risk, I think,
Right.
And I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's one of those fights where Shakur's, I say, man, I think he's in his prime right now.
Yeah.
I can't see him getting any better. You know what I mean? And for
although he might though, right?
He might.
Yeah.
But for Frank Martin not to get anything out of it, it's pretty hard to see him wanting to take that. And it could be an upset. Who knows? But I don't blame Frank Martin for pulling out. And if there was more at stake, maybe I would. But again, I don't blame Frank Martin, but I definitely want to see Shakur fight a top level fighter, man.
Yeah, it seems like we can't get nobody finalized for Shakur. But another point of view, Chaz, I think we were talking about this earlier. It could be also that they advise Frank Martin not to take it because maybe PBC maybe has another path for him.
Yeah,
maybe that might involve Tank Davis, which is another super fight, or just as big, right?
Yeah,
maybe even
money.
bigger.
That's
yeah. Exactly. So what do you think about that?
You know what? Looking at it that way, that's always something. Maybe we haven't heard about it. You know what I mean? Maybe they presented him another offer. Hey, in 6 months, this you might get another opportunity and it's going to be even better. So if you can just
hold off.
If you can just hold off, you know what I mean, and maybe get another fight under your belt, to kind of tune up for this Shakur fight. You know what? I mean, I don't blame him. Second in what Neighborhood said. I don't think that. I don't hold anything against anyone for this fight because that was just a fight that was just going to be a treat. If you're a real fight fan and you kind of know what's going on, I think that would have been just a real big bonus. But you know what? These guys put a lot at stake. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't make sense for them at the end of their contract and how much they're going to bring home to their family because they're putting their selves in jeopardy and their health in jeopardy to go in the ring, and put up these battles. Hey, you know what? I'm all for it, man, because they were willing to basically go in there and do what the fans wanted, So, you know what? Huge respect to them, and you can't wait to see that fight when it does happen. But like you said,
it's got to make sense.
Like with Shakur, you can't see him getting any better, but you can see him getting bigger. And he's going to move up and move up, and so I think that he's a huge threat. But you know what, Frank Martin, man, he's got a fan favorite style, and I think he's right there behind him to where he's going to be another good fighter that we're going to get to see in the upcoming future.
Yeah, it's just a shame that boxing's so unforgiving. If you take a loss, it does really set you back. And like you touched on it, if Frank Martin were to take a loss and, he didn't, he's not getting a fair share of the, of the money, his career might take, a year or two, to get back where he is right now. But that's the risk you got to take, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, we're just we don't know the facts,
the details,
right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of, thinking it out, see what could have or might have been the reasoning.
I mean, look at it this way. Is the rematch occurring with Crawford and Spence? I mean, is that finalized? I mean, what took place? I feel like that this with Frank Martin and Shakur, I think that it was influenced by Earl Spence and by Terrence Bud Crawford. I think that they were two, men that came together and they put on a spectacular fight, that everybody wanted to see finally. And I think that, these are the little brothers.
The little bros, yeah.
And I think that, they kind of promoted this fight. And, hey, maybe that rematch has some kind of influence on whether this one's going to go through or not. I don't know. We don't know the details behind the scenes.
It'd be a good undercard, man.
It would be a great undercard. And you know what? I'm just always a fan of these guys because they have great styles. And and you can just see them kind of go into the top tier in the sport.
Yeah, well said, guys. Well, it's unfortunate this fight didn't materialize. I just want to see Shakur fight somebody. Yeah, right. Everybody seems to be, they make it seem like they're ducking him, but we'll see what happens, and we'll bring you the news, as we get it, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's turn our attention to something actually very spectacular, and I'm actually excited about. Yeah. And that is, we've always been here at the DL Boxing Podcast. We always want the women's boxing to be equal to the men's boxing, right? For women's boxing to be boxing, which is 3-minute rounds, right? Championship fights are 12 rounds. Each round is 3 minutes, and so women's boxing, as it is right now, they fight 2-minute rounds. And championship fights, I believe, are 10 rounds. Yeah. So that's always irked me. And, we've talked about it throughout, various episodes. But the news is undisputed featherweight champion Amanda Serrano. She will take on Danila Ramos on October 27th. And the big news, guys, it will be scheduled for 12 3-minute rounds.
Wow, 12 3-minute rounds.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
That's a step up.
That's a step up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's going to weed out the real deal women fighters from the ones that are just pretending, right?
Yeah,
in my opinion. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, how does that news make you feel, man?
Yeah, dude, special, man. Special moment, dude. And these are two pioneers, I mean, Amanda Serrano's the big name, but don't take anything away from Ramos for accepting that, dude. And this is huge for boxing. And when I talk about boxing, I just don't talk about women's or men's. It's boxing, you know what I mean? And you can't take anything away from this fight, dude. These are women going after it, want to make a name for themselves. And hopefully they get paid because, this is something that we've never seen.
Right,
you know what I mean? And they're taking a new step. And, I can't wait to see it. Women are wanting to be equal, and let's make them equal, So
pay them.
I can't wait.
Huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see this, Bad Chaz. How does 3-minute rounds change the whole strategy now, right? They get to actually follow a game plan, and break down their opponent. Speak on that, brother.
I mean, well, for one, it's not like the round has started and then like all of a sudden it ended so quick, and you don't have time to even finish going to the bathroom, you know what I mean? And the round starting, so I mean, I think that it's going to be great. I think that it's going to, hey, maybe it'll solve the problem with, less injuries, or it'll help them develop into a better fighter, it'll let that fight naturally progress.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So hopefully, that night we don't have a referee that's, has a discretion that we don't necessarily agree with, and they let that fight progress, and let those 3-minute rounds and that 12-round fight actually kind of go where it needs to go, man. Because I mean, you see some of the fights that Amanda Serrano puts up, and man, they're just they're very entertaining. She always gives us a spectacular performance.
Every woman's fight's entertaining, man, because they have to be.
But Amanda Serrano, she's so humble, man. Like her post interviews and like the way she was with her last fight, and the way that she talked to her opponent, and the way that she gives this image, to young female fighters coming up, man. She's just she's a great influence, and I really like to watch her fight, and I like everything that she says and does, man, because I think that she's one of those people in the sport that gives back to it, you know what I mean, and not everybody does, and I think that she dumps her heart and soul out to it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're very excited, man. I mean, we can't wait to see it. I'm hoping, this sheds that light that we've been trying to say. They need those 3-minute rounds. They need to develop, like you said. They need to follow a game plan. They need to be the equal. They need to participate in the sport of boxing.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
No modified versions. It's just boxing, right? 3-minute rounds, and we're gonna get it, guys. And I can't wait to see it.
Can't wait.
So hats off, congratulations, Amanda Serrano and Danila Ramos. All right, guys. Well, that concludes our podcast. We want to thank Cutman Jay, man. What a great dude.
And his family, for giving him the time and the respect. Yeah.
We enjoyed that interview a lot, man. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, any shout outs you want to give, man?
You know what? I want to shout out you guys, a lot of times, people don't see what goes on behind the scenes, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we've been grinding, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's working out, running, stuff behind the scenes is just great. My son, little Ryan Jr. out there boxing with us,
champ.
You know what I mean? Daniel giving him some good pointers, he's just 5 years old, but he hangs with the grownups, man. He's just awesome, man. Dude. And Hugo, my cousin Mario, everybody out there just grinding, man. And just thank you guys. You guys are motivation, and you keep this thing going, whether you believe it or not. Thank you guys.
Yeah, well said, neighborhood hero on Reels. Bad Chaz, any shout outs, brother?
Oh, you know what? Just shout out to our wives, man, and our family, you know, kind of just giving us this time and supporting us, you know, so we can come do this, you know what I mean? And I mean, look, here we are, you know, episode 42, you know what I mean? Like when we look back, like, man, you know what? They kind of gave us a lot of slack. So, you know what? Just huge respect to you ladies, you know what I mean? And thank you, you know, so we get to spend time with our brothers and our friends and keep kind of, you know, picking away at finding out about new great people out there, you know, like Jay and, and some of the other great people we've got to interview. So
exactly, man.
Just kind of expanding our network is it's been a real special moment.
Yeah, beautifully said, Bad Chaz. Like always, cameraman Liam, sound guy Rob, thank you guys for helping us out. And with that said, guys, I am Coach D, along with neighborhood hero Ryan Rios and Bad Chaz, and we're out, guys.